In the last 4 years, my team and I have done over $210 million in revenue for e-commerce brands through email marketing, and we have codified a 9-figure email marketing playbook that brands are using to scale today. These aren't hacks, these aren't gimmicks, it's just a repeatable system which is tailored for each specific brand archetype that works. Pretty much every brand in the world is running list growth, flows, campaigns of some description, but they're leaving millions of dollars on the table because they don't know how to tailor the best strategies working today to their specific e-commerce brand. Let's get into it. Boom. So as we can see, the e-commerce retention playbook is getting brands to $100 million, so you can just steal the playbook and use it for yourself. You can see here a brand here doing quite well over the last 4 months or so of email marketing efforts. You can see this stuff works. You can see all of our content here. This doc is going to be in the description as always. You can get all of our free content here. You can sign up to the newsletter, check out our other social media platforms and stuff like that. But the first thing I want to get into for this system is that you need to understand your brand archetype. This is something that we've been speaking about a little bit more on the channel as of late, and we're going to be doing a lot more guides on. But really, what is an archetype, right? So this is basically kind of a type of brand that you are that we need to be able to discern so we can see what strategies and what tactics that come up are actually valid for us, that are clever tactics for us to use within our brands. What makes up a brand archetype? It's a category that you are in based on purchase pattern characteristics, revenue model characteristics, product structure, secondary defining characteristics, and business performance indicators. I'm going to explain what these are briefly, and then I'm going to chunk it all down to the key elements that you need to know before we go into tons of examples of how to basically change this $100 million system to your brand archetype, right? Purchase pattern characteristics is basically more about like your AOV, your frequency, these sorts of things, just based off of some like fundamental realities of your brand, right? Let's say a makeup brand and a brand that sells desks and home furniture. These are, they're both direct to consumer businesses, but the similarities basically begin and end there. So your purchase pattern characteristics are going to be way different depending on the products that you sell. Revenue model, are you mostly subscription, or is your revenue kind of like concentrated across a hero product or a couple of other products, or is it very broad? Like, is it made up from like 50 different SKUs? That's kind of more about your revenue model. Your product structure is like the hero product dominance, category diversity, collection launch dependence, these sorts of things, like how your SKU count is structured more so. Secondary defining characteristics, these are not necessarily hard metrics. These aren't numbers. These aren't things that you can point and say, yes, directly I have a $120 AOV. Right? Your brand positioning, is it premium luxury? Is it value driven? Your market approach, are you more influencer led? These sorts of things that are kind of more secondary defining characteristics. Are you a luxury brand? Are you a brand that's fully like influencer backed? Do you make custom products? These sorts of things. This is all going to massively update how you run this email marketing system. Business performance indicators, these are sort of realities that we have to exist within with our email marketing channel. Are we always looking for first order profitability? Okay, cool, but that's going to affect how we do list growth massively. Customer service requirements, for instance, for a lot of our clients who are in that more high ticket kind of side of things, $2,000 AOV and up, what kind of level of support do they need post-purchase, margin structure, gross margins, and all this sort of thing, and so on. Now, that's a lot of stuff, but I really wanted to skim through that so I can just give you the core things that you really need to understand, which will define your archetype, which is basically your product category. So what kind of stuff do you sell? What are like the natural realities of the products? Do people naturally buy one, or do they naturally buy multiple? Key thing to understand. Your AOV, this naturally has sort of like an inverse relationship with the number of expected purchases. Are people going to spend $500 with us 3 times, or are they more likely to spend $60 with us 3 times? This is kind of just something that you can map onto your brand. If you're higher AOV, your LTV getting strategy in terms of how you get repeat purchases has to change. Your purchase frequency, once again, just sort of naturally buy the product. If you have a fragrance brand, makeup brand, whatever it might be, people naturally buy multiple. LTV, meaning like the percentage of LTV that comes quickly after the first purchase. I'll kind of go into this here now briefly, right? So the 3 archetypes that you need to know are high AOV, low purchase frequency, think sofa or kind of furniture brand. Low AOV, high purchase frequency, think CBD brand. Medium AOV, medium purchase frequency, think an athleisure brand or an accessories brand. In this case, think like Hexclad. Low AOV, high purchase frequency, let's say Brez or Breeze, the CBD THC drinks. Medium AOV, medium purchase frequency, think Ridge wallets. There are way more than 3. We have like 21 types we refer to internally for all of our clients, but just think of these 3 broadly. Based on your archetype within this system, the following variables are going to change: your list growth, your flow strategy, your campaign strategy, your regression with offers, your segmentation, your post-purchase strategy, and how you do data reporting. We're going to go into all of these within the system here today, right? So key thing that we go into first, before I want to go into any of these variables, is that like anything can work. Any brand, when I say this, I'm not saying any strategy can work, because there are some definite do's and don'ts, but what I mean is that any brand can get email marketing to be a profitable channel for them. We have clients from all different kind of backgrounds and all different sort of specifications for their businesses. Some have an AOV of $2,100, others have an AOV of $35, right? But still, they're all able to make email marketing work once they honor their natural limitations and natural advantages as businesses, right? You just need to work with your archetype. Like, these are all completely different archetypes, and you can see they don't seem to do too badly from email marketing. First thing here with list growth, we want to make sure our list growth is extremely strong, right? So it's the fuel for our extremely important pre-purchase automations. It's also the fuel for our campaigns. You will see a diminishing return from mailing the same people over and over again. So what we want to look at here is, like, with our pop-ups and with other list growth mechanisms, we need to realize that any small change that we have here, any increase in opt-in rate, is massive. It's absolutely massive, because it's just one of those pivotal metrics within the account. Because if you have a form that goes from like a 5% conversion rate to even like a 6% conversion rate, it's a 20% increase in the number of people joining your list. It's either 5% to 6%. Wow, who cares? But it's like, I care. I care a lot when it comes to these sorts of things. That will just over time will lead to just such a rising tide over your whole account. Imagine 20% more subscribers compounded over a year. It completely changes the game for you with email marketing. So this is something that we need to think about a lot. Now, talking about your archetype, let's say you're high AOV, low LTV. You need to keep margin loss low to non-existent. Use like a dollar amount off orders. Let's say $50 off orders, 1,000 and above. This sort of caps how much you have to give up. So like at maximum, you'll give up 5%. If someone spends $2,000, you give up 2.5%. If someone spends $3,000, you give up 1.66% recurring. And then also, you know, like we might do like a giveaway offer here. There's going to be something here called Aliyah forms. We're not an affiliate or anything like that, but they're just amazing. It's aliyahlearn.com. They're just fantastic. Say we sent you, but we're not going to get anything for that. We just think it's a fundamentally amazing tool. But here, the reason we like using that is because it gives people like a small potent welcome series on the side. I spoke about Aliyah and showed these forms in the video. I think it was 5 genius tactics that the best e-commerce brands use. This basically aids CRO because we want to have the strongest list growth possible here whilst not giving up much margin, right? So this leaves us in a tough situation because oftentimes it's the offer that gets people to subscribe. Here, we want to make sure that margin loss is low to non-existent. Low AOV, high LTV, margin loss isn't the end of the world. If you know your numbers and you know what people's propensity to come back is, then you can go aggressive. 15% off is industry standard. It could be 10% off. If you can go lower, better. Just to say people's natural propensity to rebuy here is higher. So if you have to use an offer to get the list to grow at the rate that you need it to grow, it's not the end of the world. Medium AOV, medium LTV, please try not to deviate from 10% off here. You can play around with this as well, like free gift for purchase. I love in this category. I love free gifts for purchase in general, but if you can throw in a free accessory that's worth $20 and your cogs are $3, that's absolutely amazing. Especially if your AOV is like whatever, $75 in this category. If you can just give up $4 to give up an accessory, that would be amazing. That's key for this archetype. Here's a good example of a high AOV, low LTV pop-up giveaway offer. Same here, high AOV, low LTV, medium AOV, medium LTV offer 10%. Free gift here would also be amazing. Same here, high AOV, low LTV. Here would be low AOV, high LTV. So you can see here 15% off, not the end of the world. Here's an example of an Aliyah funnel. This is not like a typo or anything like that either. This is a 37% email opt-in rate for Aliyah here, which is pretty insane. We can see here, this is the learning completion funnel. This is sort of the welcome series that people get on the website, that we have 91% of people who give their email completing that. Within these opt-in, I just want to show you guys the examples first. Look at these 4 things: the offer, the timing, the design, and the sequence. What do you notice? The offer here is optimized for margin based on the brand's archetype. You can see this in every single case. The timing, you can't see this, but we always delay these pop-ups so that they're not coming up remotely near right away. We don't want to have a jarring experience for people on the website, or else they will bounce off the website. If we see a decent increase in bounce rate from people seeing the pop-ups, then that will negate any benefit that comes from the pop-ups. Then design, you can see here, look how prominent the offer is in every case. The second this pop-up comes up, you know exactly what's in it for you. You have to bear in mind that when people come onto your website, they come from an Instagram ad, they come from a search or whatever it might be. They have people texting them, ringing them, they're at work, they have different things going on in their lives, they're very busy. When you get this opt-in, when they're on your website, in order to grab their email, you need to instantly, they need to know what's in it for you. Look, the second you see this pop-up, your eyes are just drawn to this offer. Second you see this pop-up, eyes drawn to the offer. This offer text wants to dominate everything else on the screen. You can see with the sequence here, look, we always love this yes, no question. Once someone clicks this button, then the email form will show up. That commitment and consistency bias plays in there. But you can see this needs to follow the 4 principles really, really well, but also it needs to be fit to the brand archetype so that we don't give up too much margin. In terms of other strategies across list growth, what you want to do as well is like, you want to be consistently trying to grow your SMS list. You do this through cross-pollinate. Well, you can do it through pop-ups as well, but you can have the SMS step. But outside of that, because we've sort of spoken about pop-ups already, is that we want to cross-pollinate our email list to our SMS list. So we'll do this through email campaigns and post-purchase emails like below. We can just get people to go through to an SMS page, click the button and go all the way through there and go to a page where they can pop in their SMS. If you think about this with this method, right? Let's say you drive 150 new subscribers per month using this method. You will have 1,800 new emails in 12 months time, or phone numbers, I should say, in 12 months time. Imagine that when it comes to Black Friday. When you have a revenue peak that's going on, we're going to chat about revenue peaks towards the end of this video and what they actually are. If you have more more phone numbers. You have a couple of thousand extra phone numbers. It does huge things for your business. Once we go on here from list growth, we're going to talk about the core flows, which are a huge part of the overall strategy. You have a ton more people entering your CRM now. You want to welcome them the best way possible, get them to convert, and then also tailor the experience for them post-purchase to get them to come back a couple of times, right? Flows strategy by Archetype. High OV, low LTV. Use no offers if possible pre-purchase, or just a very small offer, just as best you possibly can. Post-purchase, recognize that upselling is exceedingly rare, so cross-selling is where you need to put focus. People are not going to buy 2 mattresses, I'm sorry to tell you, but people could buy a mattress and buy a duvet and buy pillows and buy these other complementary products. So cross-selling happens, upselling doesn't really happen as much with this archetype. Low AOV, high LTV. Want to drive order one ASAP, even if it means using an offer, and then post-purchase. In this case, it's the opposite. Upselling happens, but cross-selling doesn't really. What basically happens is someone buys a certain fragrance from you, or a certain supplement, or a certain whatever mixture, or a skincare product. They have a good experience and they bought that product because they knew from looking at your website that this was the product that most aptly dealt with the issue that they were facing. Someone bought a skincare product from you that deals with, having dry skin. Well, they are not going to buy an oily skin product from you. So what we should be doing is at that data point from what they purchased, this shows us their problem because they bought the thing which addresses their problem most clearly. We just want to upsell them more of that. So it's completely different to a business that has higher AOV. Cross-selling almost never happens. This is one of my hot takes, but from what we've seen in the last 5 years of doing this stuff, it is very much so true. Medium AOV, medium LTV. Here, you're generally going to have a large SKU count. So what you're going to do pre-purchase, because people are going to be confused, is we're going to use mimetic theory. This is a fancy way of saying we're going to show people what other people like so that they're going to purchase these products themselves. We use our bestsellers pre-purchase to mitigate and minimize confusion and drive orders. And then post-purchase, we can use offers if needed. Both upselling and cross-selling can happen under the right conditions. It's just to say pre-purchase, we want to keep to our 10% maximum, just drive interest to our bestsellers. And then post-purchase, we can use offers if needed. I'm speaking just about flow strategy here, right? When we get to campaigns, we're going to show you how for this archetype really in particular, you'll see the best brands in this space. They're all about novelty. They're all about releasing new products all the time to their list. The 4 flows that we'll go through will be the welcome series, browse, abandon, abandon, checkout, post-purchase flow. So welcome series, what actually makes a good welcome series? Well, there are 3 things that we need to do within the welcome series. We want to maximize revenue from email 1, build the brand in the customer's mind. And then towards the end of the flow, we want to get really smart with recouping more revenue for maximum efficiency. We can do this either through adding urgency that the code's going to expire, increasing someone's offer, or even doing, 2 emails on the final day. There are a couple of ways that we can do this, but basically we want to maximize revenue from email 1 and day 1. I've seen brands do 2 emails on day 1. We've done this for clients before as well. It's worked quite nicely. Build the brand in the customer's mind and then kind of recoup as much revenue towards the end. With these 3 things in mind, in order to do these within all of the emails that we have, we want to be building status, building trust, or building belief in the customer's mind at every single point. Status is all about positioning. It's all about showing where you've been featured. So you can see here Goop, Birdie, Forbes, Vogue. Trust is about reputability, which is just showing people behind the scenes and showing people that they're real human beings behind the business. And Trustpilot doesn't hurt. Belief is all about demonstration. It's all about showing people what the products have done. So it's all about showing them before and afters or comparing them to other products. So don't be afraid to go for these more iconoclastic us versus them angles. These work really nicely, especially if you're in CPG or more of the health space. You can go a little bit more direct with your emails. People nearly expect it in this space. So you can see, on the right here from Peach and Lily, this wouldn't be like a very direct response heavy brand, but you can see this is a very striking image. You can see a little bit more directness with these offers is huge. Email 1, just hit them with a welcome plus offer. Keep this really short. I love this because it just goes with the 10% and just directs them to a button. Very simple. Don't try to do much brand building here. Just go straight to the offer. Email 2, go through the brand backstory here a little bit more. As you can see here, like with Hawthorne actually does, it's personal care tailored to each person. And then lots of social proof here, which I love. Benefits, reviews, community. This would be a great time to do like us versus them. You can see AG1, not exactly known for being heavy direct response. It's a massive brand after all. They don't want to harm brand equity by going super direct. If you're a brand, a smaller brand who's not doing 100 million a year, you'll be fine with going a little bit more kind of direct marketing, but you could definitely go in here and compare only the good stuff. You could compare yourself to other products or other brands out there and say other brands put these into their products. We do not. We're far better than that. Email 4, this is one of the best emails I've ever seen in a welcome series. Email 5 and 6, you could either increase the offer, you can say the offer is expiring, or you could do 2 emails on the final day. So this is like the urgency portion. We've done the brand building now in the previous emails. This is the urgency portion. So if you were in a high AOV, low LTV category, you would rather just do urgency. If you're in a low AOV, high LTV category, you could up the offer a little bit. And then if you're in the middle, you can maybe up the offer, but wouldn't really recommend it as such. With the welcome series, for high OV, low LTV, keep the flow long, lots of education. Ideally only use an offer at the very end to convert people who won't buy without one. So ideally you're using a giveaway offer at this point. Maybe you're using a $50 off orders, 1,000 and above, perhaps. Low AOV, high LTV, you can also go a bit longer, but just use tons of urgency at the end of the flow and even increase the offer if you need to. Medium AOV, medium LTV, show bestsellers everywhere to reduce confusion and actually get people to take an action. So just push your bestsellers everywhere, because people are going to look at 300 SKUs and be like, where the hell do I even begin? You can say, well, you begin right here. Finally, as well, ideally don't give more than 10% off at any point, ideally. Now, Browse abandoned, similar thing, very simple flow. I'm going to do a detailed video on browse abandoned flow actually pretty soon, or just in the abandonment flows in general. But use the content from your welcome series here. This is the biggest thing I'd like to tell you guys. If you've really good content that you put a lot of time into writing for your welcome series, use it in your browse abandoned, please. Talk about your USPs constantly, and then go with subvertly selling. So basically 3 reasons to buy from brand X. Well, we're the customer demographic also, so you can trust us. We made these products for ourselves. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews. And then number 3, follow the yellow brick road. Would you look at that? Your offer is expiring, and we can go from there. So it's kind of a little bit of longer style email. I'll show you guys in our flows guide. You can see like the exact emails that we use here too. 3 principles for abandoned checkout as well. Handle objections everywhere. So you can see here, this email is probably the best example of doing this. This is one of the best emails we've ever done, I'd say personally. It's been amazing for a number of different clients, but it's just like an FAQ email that basically goes through all of the objections that someone might potentially have. So what if I want XYZ? Well, we've all the client info blurred out, but you can see this in the doc in the description as well, as always. You want to show social proof everywhere. So show your best reviews everywhere, your most emotionally charged reviews everywhere. Then we have understanding structure. So like, want to basically, if you offer free shipping above a certain cart threshold, definitely segment your flow to highlight this. So like people who are above the threshold know they have free shipping, massively increases conversion rates. Split it up based on previous number of purchases as well. So then you don't need to discount as hard with repeat buyers. You can do this with like your segmentation and campaigns. I'm going to show you this as well for like how you can target buyers, because it's not, for certain archetypes, it's not too bad to do offers there. But for the abandoned checkout, when people are like this close to purchasing, you don't really need to really give offers to people who've purchased before. Post-purchase flow. Principles here are as follows. You split by number of purchases the person's made, thank them genuinely, push them to the SMS list, get them primed to buy again with good content that builds your brands, and how to use the products, why we started the brand. How you would do this for each archetype, right? So high AOV, low LTV, look to upsell right away, even in email 1. So many brands aren't aggressive enough in this time period when people are at their most engaged. If you know from your backend data that repeat orders are hard to come by, go for it right away. For one of our clients, we just know that most of their LTV comes in the first 30 days, and their literal first post-purchase email, it's a plain text email, and we give them 3 offers with like bulleted points, 1, 2, 3, and the people can enjoy for just a couple of days. Email absolutely rips, and it's a pretty good way to do things if you're high AOV, low LTV. Low AOV, high LTV, don't upsell right away. Let people kind of use the products for a little bit, and then kind of push more of what they just bought. Everything geared towards upselling, not cross-selling. Medium AOV, medium LTV, look to upsell right away. People are at their most engaged here. So as well, if you want to see the exact emails that we use for each archetype, just I don't want to make this video 2 hours long, you can look at our exact Klaviyo flows tutorial, how we automate. This is a year ago, so it's more than 6 million a month now that we do for clients and revenue. You can see our full flows tutorial with a ton of email examples of exactly how we do this flow. I'm looking very shiny here in this thumbnail, beautiful. Campaigns, these are one-off sends for each brand archetype. This strategy needs to be quite updated. It needs to be quite a bit different depending on your archetype. Flows do, of course, as well, but campaigns, in terms of like which segments you go after and stuff, very, very different stuff. These should be about 50% of your email revenue, broadly speaking. For high AOV, low LTV, probably a little bit less. So it's extremely important that we get it correct. Campaigns are really important. They drive revenue, which is obviously far more incremental than pre-purchase flows. They keep your hard-earned buyers engaged with the brand. They build the brand and its status in the customer's mind also. Archetype-specific adjustments. For high AOV, low LTV, what are we going to do? We're going to have a high campaign volume, lots of new releases, plus events as often as possible. Let's say we have like pop-ups, free sample events. Like we're going to try to sell people a free sample and then try to upsell them into buying a full price product. Want to just have like novelty going on here quite a bit. Low AOV, high LTV, also high, but like you'll basically send discount free campaigns to your active customer file, anyone who's purchased in the last 6 months essentially, and then only send offers to purchasers or those outside the active customer file. So once someone's purchased, yeah, like if we want them to come back, like we'll really push them into subscribing more than anything, and that's kind of a big thing we'll do in the post-purchase flow too. But we won't really send offers to anyone in the active customer file, like anyone who's purchased in the last kind of 6 months, because there's a good chance that they'll come back and buy at full price, and then we can kind of contact them separately once they're outside of that range, or they've purchased a couple of times. We'll just try and push them into subscription. Medium AOV, medium LTV, release new products as often as humanly possible. Use offers on customers only. And we said this at the event that we were speaking at recently as well. It's not exactly a hack. I wish there were a hack for this, but it's, yeah, you basically need to reorient your whole organization to be able to release new products all the time. I mean, our multi-8-figure clients in this category, they've released new products at least once monthly, which is a big undertaking for any organization. Some of them release products weekly. You have to bear that in mind. Broadly speaking, we have 2 broad campaign types. So evergreen and promotional. Evergreen is something that can sell. It doesn't use a discount and can be used at any time of year. So think a gift guide, think an us versus them campaign, think a bestsellers campaign, these sorts of things. Promotional is obviously a promotion. So this is like sales, new product releases, and Black Friday. New product releases are in their own category where I don't think they reduce brand equity whatsoever. It's like you're giving something to your subscribers. If you can release products often, I mean, you're just going to have such a profitable CRM. Even if you do it with a small product order, like let's say they're like 1,000 units, but like they're retail at like $60 and like your gross margins on those are 80%. It's like if you can sell those out quickly, if you have a big CRM, you can just rely on 48k profit pretty much right there. If you're able to do that on pretty small MOQs, and have amazing margins like that, then yeah, like you can just introduce these bursts of profit into your list, and all the best brands in the third archetype always do that. So if you can, we'd recommend having at least 80% of your emails not fall into the promotional category. We want to train the list correctly so they go berserk when there finally is a sale. We want to make sure that we're not giving people 3 teaspoons of sugar in their coffee, right? We want them to have their bitter coffee, and then once we give them a little bit of sugar, they go berserk. You don't want to be that person who, when they drink normal coffee, after drinking coffee with 3 teaspoons of sugar in there, just can't do it, right? We don't want to have a list of people who are like that. We don't want them to be accustomed to offers, and that's sort of the analogy. Here with some evergreen ideas, things like new arrival showcases, how-to guides and tutorials, customer success stories, seasonal trend insights, product comparison guides, exclusive access previews, behind the scenes sneak peeks, expert Q&A sessions, lifestyle content, interactive content and polls. We have a full campaigns guide on the channel as well, which you can check out as well. There's a really good doc in there with examples for all of these. And we have a full calendar as well that you guys can basically check out here too. This is for Q3, which we'll be coming into fairly soon. You can see how to build out a calendar like this pretty simply. Bonus I want to talk with you guys about is revenue peaks. These are something I changed my mind on in 2024. I used to think that sales just exhausted lists, but I wasn't fully correct. It's sales ran without justification and ran all the time that do that, not, sales ran the right way. We have clients who run sales strategically where they drive a huge new wave of customer acquisition that's really cheap for all the people that they've pulled into their CRM that haven't yet purchased. And they can get lots more value out of those people over time, and they increase the value of existing profiles in the CRM which purchased before but not very recently. So we run these probably once a quarter on average. That's generally when we do this. We'll also have new product releases and things like that too, but really it's like we run a sale like this, and when we do it, we sell. Like we have 4 or 5 days and we go hell for leather. So look at this sale. This is basically 958k in a month. This is on 1 day click attribution, so I don't know what this would be on like normal 5-day click, 1 day view attribution, probably like 40%. So you can do the maths on that. It'd be 2.5x, whatever that is. Jeez, that'd be nearly $2.5 million. But you can see here, look at all of this data, right? So this is a BFCM sale. This is for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Look at this for this client, right? So we have 14,885 new customers. And then we have overall 28,879 purchasers. So we have basically like a 50-50 split of new and returning. But then look at this, new customers acquired on Black Friday purchased since. So of the new customers, we have over 30% of them have come back. This is pretty crazy. You can see here as well how many people purchase multiple times. Some of these purchase like 4 times as well on Black Friday. If you're okay with that 30% off sale, but someone spends $250 in that time versus not spending that much money with you, it's like, I don't know what I would take there, Like I know what I would take. I would basically take the lower margin, more revenue kind of thing, especially when it's coming mostly from the CRM. You can see here, this is in a month. Our goal is to hit 600k. We did 958. We did 337k in 1 week here on 1 day attribution. So we do like multiple sends in 1 day. We just do this with the different segmentation strategy where we basically send to like generally 90-day engaged to begin. Then we send to a 30-day engaged minus people who've purchased in the last 2 days, and also minusing people who have opened in the last 6 hours. Then we resend to that segment again, like 6 hours later. So we do 90-day engaged minus people who've opened an email in the last 6 hours minus people who've purchased in the last 2 days. Then 4, 5, 6 hours later, we'll send to 30-day engaged with those same exclusions. 4 hours later, we'll go again to 30-day engaged with those exclusions. Then we'll go to 14 or 7-day engaged. The reason is, so you can see here, look, our open rates remain constant. This segment's getting smaller. Our opens are going down, but you can see the rate is staying the same, right? So we want to send to smaller groups over time. So by sending to the more engaged groups as we go throughout the day, we're basically keeping our open rates at the same so we don't harm our deliverability whatsoever. So when we're doing revenue peaks, we want to go like short. You can see here 7 a.m., 12 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. We do 2 unique emails, 1 designed, 1 plain text, and then we do a resend of each email in the day. This was the Friday, so 7 a.m., 12 p.m., 4:30 p.m., 8:30 p.m. You can see here same cadence here on the Saturday. We're going to smaller and smaller segments over time with the resends and things like that. Same thing with Sunday. Look, we're going a little bit later on Sunday just for when people get up. They're going to be up a little bit later on a Sunday. And you can see here 1 day click attribution, 337k in a week. We did 186k of that on a weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, pretty bonkers. With segmentation, we actually want to keep things pretty standardized. We want to make out all of these segments as our core segments so we understand which portions of our CRM are engaged. Our VIPs, our can receive marketing are unengaged. Just build these out the way I have these here. This is how an engaged segment should look. And this is like a suite of engaged segments just based off. The only variable that would be changing is the time period in which they've engaged, right? This document again is in the description. Just build out all of your segments like this. Super, super easy to do. And then build things out by non-customer, returning customer, basically. If someone has purchased or if they have not. Bounced email, these people you want to suppress basically every month as often as you can. Then can receive marketing. This is your email list. This is basically all of the people that you can email safely. Black Friday, we'll basically be going after this segment quite a lot, but in recent years with deliverability updates, we've actually been going a little bit more narrow. When you know you can increase volume volume. This is like when you're sending to this core engaged segment, you know this if your open rates are staying 40% plus, your click-through rates are staying at 0.6%, and your unsubscribe rates are staying below 0.2%. You can increase volume at more evergreen campaigns like we spoke of if you're hitting these metrics. Go gradually and ensure that you're still seeing strong revenue from each campaign too. The segments that you'll go after by different archetypes are essentially people outside the active customer file. So the active customer file is basically everyone who has purchased within the last 6 months. For a high AOV, low LTV brand, you can send offers to people who have purchased, but not in the last 6 months. We can send offers to them to get them over the line. People who've been on the list the last 30 days but haven't purchased, they've been on over 30 days, that is, we can send them the welcome offer repeatedly. That's fine. And then similar thing for our people in kind of CPG. If you have a subscription program, once someone's purchased twice, from there we want to be hammering them with the benefits of our subscription program all the time. Within our campaigns, we also want to be testing something. We want to kind of test the highest leverage things: send times, subject lines, hero images, heavy design versus more text-based. This is testing send time. It's not really like big kind of data to take from this, but it's just we want to be testing something all the time. Go from big differences within send time to smaller differences over time. Super important. Finally, with data reporting, what you need to be looking at based on your archetype. So high AOV, low LTV, you want to track welcome series entrants versus purchasers, and you kind of do this through segmentation as well. Track 1x to 2x buyers, because that's really important. If we can get people to purchase twice, it's such a win. Active customer file, anyone who's purchased in the last 6 months. Low AOV, high LTV, 1x to 2x buyers. Track subscriber growth, so people who are like on your actual subscription program in Skio or Recharge or what have you. Active customer file, and 30-day churns. 30-day churns on your email list. I'm going to show you exactly how you calculate these below. Medium AOV, medium LTV, 1x to 2x buyers, and repeat percentage. Active customer file, 180 days. Place order at least once in the last 80 days. You can see we're looking at for one of our clients here. This is the churn rate. So 30-day churns of our active customer file. This is how we track this. Place order 0 times the last 180 days, but placed an order between 180 and 210 days ago. This is not bad at all for this brand. 30% repeat rate, not bad at all for this brand. You can see 1x to 2x is great. 2x to 3x is great. VIP purchaser is great. So yeah, these are basically how you track these. Very important for your archetype, for this system, that you're able to track these month on month, so you can make sure that you're getting better over time. These are the kind of lead indicators that you want to be looking at. This is what success looks like depending on your archetype. These are the things that we need to be tracking. If these are getting better, they're huge bull signals. Big thing really for any brand though, is if your active customer file is growing profitably, like you're very profitable and that's growing very well, you're in a very enviable position and you're building up leverage in your CRM to use in future. That is basically the video. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, you can find that below in the description of this video. This document is in the description of the video as well. You can find all of our other socials here. If you're doing over 100K a month, you can book in a quick chat with ourselves where we can give you guys a live audit of your email marketing channel. Other than that, this is just one part of a massive series that we're doing on the channel right now around archetypes and around how you need to fit these to your brand. If you want to check out a brand archetype mega guide that tells you exactly what you need to be doing for your archetype with tons of example emails within there and example strategies, you can click on this video right here. I'll see you there.